Everybody, welcome to Ed Puzzle number 24, and today we are going to find the zeros of a quadratic function. So there's a couple ways we're going to do this. The way I'll show you today is using the graphing calculator that you'll be able to use on your STAR test. For you to do that, we're going to look at the graph, and we're going to see where, remember this is a parabola, and we took notes on this already. Remember the zeros are the hearts on the x-axis, so wherever they cross the x-axis. In Algebra 1, we're going to mostly deal with 2, sometimes 1 solution, and they're also called solution roots and x-intercepts. When you get to Algebra 2, you'll talk about when there are no real solutions. So we're looking for where the graph crosses the x-axis. This is the x-axis, so it crosses there, that's a heart, and that's a heart right there. Okay, so let me show you what that would look like when you use your graphing calculator. Okay, so let's just say I type in my equation here, x squared minus 4. So I can see there's the x-axis, it goes this way. It crosses right there at +2 and at -2. So those would be my two zeros. If it looked like this, the 0 would be there, 0, and then here, 4, 0. If it looked like, I'm trying to think of another example. Like this, maybe you'll have decimals. So there's one right there, and then there's the other one right there. Okay, so as long as it's wherever it crosses the x-axis, remember that y is always equal to 0. That's why they're called zeros. Was I going to show you another example? Okay, let me do some examples on Excel so you can see what it looks like. So here's DESMOS. Now, your equation has to be either y equals, oops. For you to do this correctly, it either has to be in y equals, like y equals x squared minus 4, or it can be in 0 equals. If it's not, then you need to solve it. So what do I mean? For example, if it is x squared minus 4x equals 10, that side does not equal to 0. So what I need to do is I need to move this over here to this side. So it's a positive, so it moves over as a negative. Okay, this is already positive, so you could put a little plus in front of it. That would be the equation you would graph. Not the first one, but this would be the equation you would graph. Okay, so let me do another example. So let's say we had x squared plus 3 equals -8x. Okay, so this side needs to equal to 0. So I need to move this -8 over here to the other side. Because it's negative, when you move it, it's going to be a positive 8x. Okay, I don't have to put the plus in front. I just did it to show you that. So in the example that we have right now, let me give you an example. Tell me what you would do with x squared minus 4x equals 6. What would you need to move, and what would be the equation? What would you need to move? You would need to move over the 6. Okay, when you move it over, what does it become? A -6, because this is positive. So the equation you would graph is this right here. Oops. That would be the equation you would graph. Okay, so let me show you this example. So if you look at this one, and they use K, it doesn't matter. The 19 is here, and that needs to move over to the other side. So what I'm going to do, oops, it was K squared minus 4K equals 19. So that needs to equal 0. So I need to move the 19. It's a positive 19, so when you move it, it's going to be a negative 19. Okay, and this is what I'm going to graph in my graphing calculator. So I'm going to type this in here. I'm going to type in X though, because your DESMOS is using X as the independent. Okay, I move over the 19. Now on paper, I have it like this. Okay, you could do it that way, or you could put it at the end. When you're adding, it doesn't matter, like the order doesn't matter. All right, so let's see where the zeros are. negative 2.79, and then 6.7. So what does it tell me to round to? The nearest hundredth, so that's the second number after the decimal. So it's the 9, but after the 9 is a 6, so it rounds up to negative 2.8. And then 6.8. I was going to count it wrong because I put the the 0. Okay, good. All right, so this one, it equals to 0. So do I have to solve this one? I don't have to solve this one. This one's already ready to go because it equals 0. And if it equals y equals or 0 equals, then you don't have to solve it. You can go ahead and start. Okay, so I just see where it crosses there once. Oh, that's because this needs to be a squared. See how it didn't look like a parabola? It looked like a line. That's how you could tell something was wrong. Okay, so that crosses here. The 0 is 1.385. The 5 is going to make the 8 round up to a 9. So 1.39. And the order doesn't matter. So like I could put this one first or that one first. This one's negative 9.8385. That means if you're not sure how I'm rounding, watch. What was it? Oh. It was negative 9.385. So I stop here. Oh, you can't see. I stop here, but because this is a 5, this is going to round up to 9. 5 and up, you round up. So it's going to be negative 9.39. Okay, and then you do this and so forth. Okay, let me do the next one. So do I have to solve this one? No, because it equals to 0. Okay, so because I didn't use X, it's telling me to use a slider, which is not what I'm doing. I'm going to change them to X's. And if it looks like this, how did it look like? If it looks like this, where'd it go? If it looks like this, a line, you know you did something wrong because it needs to look like a parabola, either a U or an N. So they cross right here. They cross at negative 1.126 because it's a 6. It rounds up, so it's going to be negative 1.13. And then the other one is it's going to be a 4 at the end, so it's going to stay. So when it's 4 or less, you don't have to go up. So it's negative 16.87. Okay, that's what you're doing. So let me know if you have any questions, and make sure you get the Excel done.